Hello students, today we are going to start with topic number 4.3, multiplication of vectors by real number. Now students, what are real numbers that you must be knowing? Real numbers, they are denoted by R. Real numbers means any number, positive, negative, zero, fractional numbers. Each and every number on a number line are real numbers. So now here, suppose this lambda is any real number and a is any vector. Now if we multiply this real number, that is lambda, to a given vector a, then we get lambda into a. So students, here this a, vector a, is a vector quantity, and after product the result obtained is lambda into vector a. Again the result is a vector quantity. So whenever a real number is multiplied to a vector, the result is also a vector only. Now here what happens when this real number is multiplied to a, that is vector a? Here I had given an example that a is multiplied by 2, and what is 2? It is a real number. So what happens initially, you can see in figure, this is vector a, its magnitude is 2 centimeter. That is, magnitude means its length is 2 centimeter. Now when this a is multiplied by lambda, that is 2, what happens? 2 2s are 4. So the resultant vector, which is 2 into vector a, has a magnitude of now 4 centimeter. Means magnitude has changed, but you can see the direction remains same. Initially the vector a has this direction, and now the resultant vector obtained by multiplying a real number has the same direction. Only difference is the magnitude has changed. Now students, one more example is there. In first example, we have multiplied a real number which is positive. Now suppose again, let us multiply the given vector a by a real number which is minus 3. So what will be the product? A into minus 3 becomes minus 3a. So suppose once again, if this is vector a whose magnitude is 2 centimeter, now when it is multiplied by minus 3, what happens? Minus 3 into 2 means 3 2s are 6. So now magnitude becomes 6 centimeter. So resultant vector has magnitude 6 centimeter, but as it is negative, the direction gets reversed, exactly opposite to that of vector a. So resultant vector minus 3a has the direction opposite to that of vector a. And so whenever a real number is multiplied to any vector, the resultant vector may have same or opposite direction, but magnitude changes. So we have to remember that multiplying any vector by a real number, the result is also a vector. Now if a vector is multiplied by a scalar, when I say a vector means a vector quantity, when I say a scalar means it is a scalar quantity. So when a vector quantity is multiplied by a scalar quantity, even the unit of the resultant vector quantity also changes. Means first of all we have to remember that when the scalar is multiplied by vector, the result is also a vector quantity, but the result obtained has some different unit, and that unit is the combination of both that vector and the scalars which are multiplied. So there is one example here, physical quantity and their unit. We know that mass is a scalar quantity. Unit of mass is kilogram. Acceleration is a vector quantity and unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So now when this mass which is scalar is multiplied to this acceleration which is a vector quantity, the result obtained is m into a, and this m into a gives the force. So you can see even a force is a vector quantity because this acceleration is a vector quantity. So result obtained is a vector quantity, and what is the unit? So unit is combination of both of this, that is kg meter per second square. So unit changes, and this kg meter per second square can be written in short as n for Newton, because force, unit of force is Newton. Now about addition and subtraction of vectors by graphical method. Now students, there are two methods for the addition or subtraction of vectors by graphical method. One method is the method of triangle or triangular method, and the other method is method of parallelogram. So let us first see the method of triangle. Now in this triangle method, which is a graphical method, this method is also known as head to tail method. And why it is called head to tail method, we will see here. Now here we have to consider two vectors, vector A and vector B. You can see the figure, this is vector A and this is vector B. Now in this method, if we add this vector A and vector B, then we have to connect the tail of any vector with the head of second vector. So here what we did, we have taken vector A, you can see same as this. This is the head of vector A, and we have placed this vector here. You can see the tail of vector B is on the head of vector A. So here head and tail, they are connected. And finally one tail is remained and one head is remained. This head and tail here, they were connected with each other, so you have to forget it. Now only one tail is there and one head is there. So by joining this tail and head, we will get the result of the addition of vector A and vector B. Here it is denoted by vector R, which is nothing but addition of these both vectors A and B. So students, in this way we can add two vectors. Now there is alternate method. Now this alternate method is not different, it is same as this only, but what we have done in that alternate method, here in this method we have connected tail of B with the head of A. In next method we will connect the tail of A with the head of B. The result obtained will be same, the result will not be different. So let us see that also. You can see a vector A is there. Now tail of vector A is connected to the head of B. So now this tail and head, they were connected with each other. Now only one tail and one head is free. So we can join that with straight line. So this straight line from tail to head is nothing but it is the resultant vector R, which is nothing but vector A plus vector B. Now students, whenever we draw this figure to obtain the resultant vector, we have to remember one thing, that when we put this vector A here, its magnitude as well as direction should not change. Direction should remain same only. You can see here the direction of A and its magnitude is same, only the place is changed, only they were slided at some other place or displaced at some other place without changing its magnitude and direction. Similarly, you can see here this vector B, simply it is displaced from here to here, and you can see that the direction as well as the magnitude has not changed. So you can place a vector to different positions at different places, you can slide it anywhere, but you have to remember that its magnitude as well as direction should not change. So students, by adding these two vectors, that is vector A and vector B, the result obtained is vector R, and you can see in figure that these three vectors, they form a triangular figure, and so this method of obtaining addition of two vectors is known as triangular method. Now about subtraction of vectors. Students, earlier we have seen A plus B, that is vector A plus vector B. Now here B is subtracted from A, that is A minus B. Let the result obtained is vector R dash. Students, subtraction means what? Actually it is addition only. It is addition of vector A with opposite of vector B. What is minus B? Minus B means it is opposite of vector B. So here we can say that this A minus B is nothing but it is A plus minus B, that is opposite of vector B. Now you can see in figure that if this is vector B, then its opposite vector will be this, that is magnitude will remain same, means length of the vector B will remain same, but its direction will be reversed, means direction becomes opposite. So now this is minus B and this is A. Now we will simply add vector A with vector minus B. once again head to tail method. Here you can see vector minus b, that is opposite of vector b, its head is there, and tail of vector a is joined with it. So it is nothing but it is a minus b. So here head and tail, they were connected. Now only one tail and one head are free, and so joining them we get resultant vector r dash. Now students, here the addition and the subtraction of two vector is shown, but if more than two vectors are given to you and if you have to add or subtract those vectors, then you can apply the similar method by joining head to tail in a row for those given vectors, and you will get the resultant vectors. Second method, that is parallelogram method. In earlier method we have connected head to tail. Here we will connect tails of the two vectors. Once again we have taken two vectors, vector A and vector B. Now to obtain the resultant vector, that is vector A plus B, we have to join the tails of both the vectors. So here we have taken vector A, which is represented by vector OP. Vector A is nothing but it is equal to vector OP. Similarly, vector B is nothing but it is vector OQ. Now you can see the tails of both these vectors A and B were connected at common point O. So now let us consider these two as the adjacent sides of a parallelogram, and if we will draw a parallel line to vector A, that is a parallel to vector A at this point, at point Q, and parallel to vector B at this point P, then we get a parallelogram, and then joining the point O with the new point, that is S, we get a diagonal. You can see this new figure. So in this way we can get the resultant vector R obtained by addition of vector A and vector B by forming a parallelogram. So here also students, what we have taken? We have taken a vector OP which is equal to vector A, you can see here, as well as vector OQ which is equal to that of vector B, which is here, and their common point was O, and then we formed a parallelogram, and so the diagonal from point O gives the resultant vector R. And so as the parallelogram is formed here, this method is called the parallelogram method of addition of two vectors, or we can say that it is a tail to tail method because the tails of two vectors are joined together. Students, one thing you have to remember, that when we slide this vector, that means when we put this vector from here to here, as well as this vector, vector B, from here to here, its direction should not change. So finally the diagonal OS is nothing but the resultant vector, which is obtained by addition of vector A and vector B. Now example number 4.1. Here it is given that rain is falling vertically with a speed of 35 meter per second and wind starts blowing after some time with a speed of 12 meter per second from east to west. So in which direction a boy waiting at a bus stop hold his umbrella? So students, it is clear from the statement that the rainwater is falling vertically downward direction and then wind start blowing from east to west, and so the resultant effect will be towards this direction. That is, it is addition of both the velocity of rain as well as the velocity of wind. And so it is clear that this boy has to keep his umbrella towards the rain which is falling on him, and this resultant effect is due to the actual velocity of rain and the actual velocity of wind. So at how much angle he should put his umbrella, that we have to find. So here we have taken that angle as theta. So here we want to find this angle also, as well as what is the resultant effect of that rain, that is also to be obtained. Actually this is not asked here. Here only asked is the direction, in which direction the boy has to keep his umbrella. But we will find this resultant velocity also. So now students, let us start. We know that velocity of rain, that is a vector quantity. Velocity of wind is also a vector quantity, and the resultant effect, that is addition of velocity of rain as well as velocity of wind, will give you resultant velocity denoted by V capital R in a vector form, and that we have studied according to law of vector addition. Now students, it is clear from this figure that this is the velocity of rain and this is the velocity of wind. Now if we will draw this line, then its magnitude will be exactly equal to the magnitude of velocity of wind. That means if the length of this VW is 12, then even this length will be also 12, and so this resultant vector forms here right angle triangle. Once again you can see here a right angle triangle is formed, and so we can write this, that square of hypotenuse is equal to the square of its sum of the square of its adjacent sides according to Pythagoras theorem. Now putting the values, VR is 35 and VW is 12, and we will get this result 1369. But this 1369 is again square of V capital R, that is square of that resultant V. So taking square root, we will get VR is equal to 37 meter per second. And so it is clear that the resultant velocity of the rainwater will be 12 meter per second in terms of its magnitude. Now we want to find the direction. Here you can see the angle is theta with vertical. This resultant VR has angle, or it makes an angle theta with the vertical, and here it forms a Z. You can see the direction of this umbrella with this vertical line. So here, as it forms a Z, if this angle is theta, then even this angle will be also theta. Now again, using that trigonometry, in this triangle with respect to theta, this side is opposite side and this is an adjacent side, and so tan theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. Students, remember, this side is nothing but it is having magnitude equal to VW. So writing tan theta is equal to opposite upon adjacent, putting the values of their magnitudes, we get 0.3429. So this is tan theta, but we want only theta. So we can write this theta is equal to tan inverse of this value, which is this. Now students, to obtain this value of tan inverse, we have to use a logarithmic table. Here the value is 0.3429. So let us see how we can obtain this degree, that is answer in degree, from the logarithmic table. Students, this is a logarithmic and trigonometric table. Now we want tan inverse value. So we will move to the tan inverse. This is logarithmic, then anti-logarithms, then natural sine, then natural tangents. Because we want to find the tan inverse, we will look at this natural tangent table. Now which value we have to obtain here? Here we want to obtain 0.3429. So students, you can see here we want 0.3429. Remember this. So here you can see at this point, here it is 0.3249, but we want 3429. So we'll move in this direction towards right hand side. We got 0.33, then 0.338, 0.3404, 0.3424. Now see, this is 0.3424, but we want 3429. So now we will see the mean difference. How much we have to add to this 24 to get this 29? We know that we need 5, but here exactly 5 is not there. There is 3 and 6. So which is the nearest value? We can add this 6 and we will get the nearest value to this 29. We can also add this 3, but that will not be the close value. The close value to this 29 is obtained by adding 6 to this 24. So how much degree is there for this value? Here it is 18. So 18 degree. And now look here. 0.9 degree. So you can write this 18.9 degree, or in terms of minutes you can write 18 degree and 54 plus 2, because we have added 6. So here there is mean difference of 2 minutes. So 54 plus 2 minutes means it is 56 minutes. But this is nearly equal to 19 degree. And so exact value of this theta is 18 degree and 56 minutes. But that is equal to nearly or approximately equal to 19 degree. Students, we can also find theta by using sine theta value. We know that from this figure, in this triangle, with respect to theta, this is opposite side and this is hypotenuse, and so sine theta is opposite upon hypotenuse, that is VW. This is VW. So VW upon VR. So we can write in this way also, sine theta is equal to VW upon VR. Putting value of VW, which is 12, V capital R, that is for resultant velocity, that is 37, we have obtained here. Dividing them, we will get 0.3243. Remember students, it is 0.3243, and so theta is equal to sine inverse of this value. Again, to find this angle theta, we have to see the logarithmic table. In that, we have to take the table of natural sine. Let us see that. So now in this logarithmic table, let us find the natural sine table. Here it is. This is natural sine table. Now students, in this natural sine table, we want the value 0.3243, and so you can see here at this point, here in vertical direction, this gives the degree. So in that we can check 3243 or near to this value. So we will move here in this direction, because at this 19 degree this first value is larger than what we are getting. So we will move in the upward direction, that is at 18 degree. We will move this side, and then here it is 3223, but still we have this value little large. So 0.3239. Here I got the nearest value, but still if we will add this 3 to it, then we will get 39. This 39 plus 3, that will give us 42, and I hope this can be considered. So we got this value at 18 degree, and let us check for the mean difference. 18 degree and 54 minute, but mean difference is this. So it is 54 minute plus 1 minute, that is 55 minute. So students, by considering this natural sine also, or this sine theta, we get 18 degree and 55 minutes, which is same only, nearly same, and we can round it off to get theta is equal to 19 degree approximately. So students, the angle which make this umbrella with the vertical is theta, that is 19 degree, which shows the direction. So students, here we obtained the magnitude of the resultant rain as well as the direction. Actually, this magnitude is not asked in this question. So when this is not asked, you can directly use this and you will get the answer. No need to find the magnitude. Finally, we will write our answer as asked. That is, a boy should hold his umbrella making an angle 19 degree with vertical towards east. So this is to be mentioned, that is direction is towards east direction, because with vertical even this angle can be 19 or even this side the angle can be 19, but our direction is towards the east direction, so that is to be mentioned. Now about properties of vectors. First is about commutative law, that is vector A plus vector B is equal to vector B plus vector A. Next is associative law, that is C is added to A plus B, that will be equal to adding A with B plus C. Students, in lower standard you might have studied about this laws, commutative and associative. Definitely that is not about vectors, but still you know about this commutative and the associative law. Now null vector. Null vector or a zero vector, it is denoted by this, that is a vector sign on 0. Students, when we add two vectors which are opposite to each other, then the result is a null vector or a zero vector. You can see here vector A is added to its opposite vector, that is minus A, and so we get the result 0. But students, we have to put here a vector sign. Definitely it is 0, but still this 0 is obtained due to the result of this addition of two vectors, and so we have to put this vector sign. Now whenever any vector is added to null vector, result is that only, that is result is that vector, means vector A plus null vector is equal to vector A. When any real number is multiplied to null vector, the result is null vector, and if any vector is multiplied by 0, again it is a null vector. So these are quite simple to remember. Now about unit vector. Unit means 1. Unit means it is equal to 1. So a vector whose magnitude is 1, that is a unit vector. So here a definition of unit vector is written: a vector of a unit magnitude is called a unit vector. Symbol for unit vector is n, and here there is a cap. So we read this as n cap or n hat. You can see there is a hat like structure. So it is also called n hat, or sometimes it is also called n caret. But better way to speak is n cap. So symbol for a unit vector is n cap. Now as an example, suppose if there is a vector A and we want to find its unit vector, that is unit vector of vector A denoted by n A cap. This A is in subscript. So here this is a unit vector of vector A. So what we have to do to find the unit vector of vector A? We have to divide a vector by its magnitude. So dividing any vector by its magnitude, we get the unit vector of that vector. So as this is a unit vector, if we take its magnitude, then magnitude will be 1 only. Here this unit vector will have the direction of that of vector A. That means the direction of these two will be same only. But the magnitude of this unit vector will be always 1. Now topic number 4.5, resolution of vectors. Students, here vector A, capital A, then vector small a and vector small b are given 3 vectors. You can see this figure also. These vectors are shown in this figure. So here we have to show this vector, that is vector A, in terms of the addition of these two vectors. So here what we have to do? Actually when we add the head to tail of this vector A and vector B, we will not get exactly this vector A. So here we have to modify this vector A and vector B indicated by small letters. So to change their magnitudes, that is to modify them, we have to multiply these vectors by some real numbers so that we can change their length, means their magnitude. So after multiplying this vector A by lambda, we will get lambda A in vector form. Similarly, if we multiply vector B with mu, then we will get a vector mu into vector B. Now adding head to tail of these modified vectors, then we get the result as A. And so we can write that this A, vector capital A, is the result of lambda A vector plus mu B vector. So we have to choose the value of lambda and mu in such a way that by adding head to tail we get exactly that of vector A. So here these two, lambda A vector and lambda B vector, they are called the components of this vector A. And so we can say that vector A has been resolved into its two components, these two components. Now the direction of lambda A vector and mu B vector is same as that of vector A and vector B respectively, because we have simply multiplied with the real numbers, because lambda and mu are the real numbers. So only magnitude will change. Direction will remain same because lambda and mu are taken positive real numbers. Definitely if that real numbers are taken negative, then the direction will be opposite. that we have studied earlier. Students, this topic about resolution is not that much important. So if you are not able to understand this, then it's okay, no matter. But now this is quite important. Unit vectors related to rectangular coordinate system. Now this rectangular coordinate system means it is a system formed by x, y and z axis. And you might be knowing that this x, y and z axis, they are mutually perpendicular to each other. So here such type of coordinate system is shown. You can see x axis, you can see y axis and a z axis. All these three axes, they are perpendicular to each other. Now I cap, you can see here I cap. This I cap, j cap and this k cap, they are nothing but the unit vectors along x, y and z axis. Means whenever there is an I cap, means definitely that represents x axis. If it is j cap, then that vector will definitely represent y axis. And if there is a k cap, then that vector will definitely represent the z axis. And so these are the unit vectors along this axis. As these are unit vectors, if we will take their magnitude, then their magnitude will be equal. Students, whenever we take the magnitude of any vector, the direction is not included in that. And that's why I cap is a vector, but when we take its magnitude, we have to write only 1. That is its magnitude. This is very important to note that unit vectors are used to indicate the direction of a given vector. Means the work of this unit vector is only to show the direction. Now resolution of vector A in a Cartesian coordinate system. Students, here vector A is shown in the figure, which lies in xy plane, which forms the Cartesian coordinate system. So here this is a vector A, this is x axis and this is y axis. Now the two coordinates of this vector A can be taken, one along the x axis, which is axi cap, and the other along the y axis, which is ayj cap. Now students, you know that this I cap is used for showing the direction along the x axis. Here this j cap is used to show the direction along the y axis. So here this ax and ay, these are the vectors, and which are nothing but the components of vector A. And so addition of these two vectors gives vector A. Here these are in vector form, but we can write that vector in terms of its magnitude and direction. So here vector Ax, its magnitude is Ax and its direction is I cap. Similarly vector Ay, its magnitude is Ay and its direction is j cap. So students, always remember, any vector has its magnitude and its direction. So we can write now this vector A as axi cap plus ay j cap, or simply in terms of its coordinates we can write in this way also. This as well as this, they are same only the method of writing is different. Students, here this ax and ay are the real numbers which are known as the x and the y components of vector A. Now students, you can see here in this figure that this vector A makes an angle theta with x-axis, and this theta shows the direction of this vector A. Now considering only magnitudes of A, then this, that is ax, and this line, vertical line, that is ay, we will not show these vector symbols, only magnitudes in our next figure. So this is the figure which only shows the magnitudes. So from this figure it is clear that with respect to this angle theta, this is adjacent side and this is hypotenuse. So cos theta is adjacent upon hypotenuse. So we have written here ax upon a. Similarly, with respect to this theta, this is opposite and this is hypotenuse. And so we can write sin theta is equal to ay upon a. Now from this equation, if we make the subject ax, which is the x component of vector A, then we get ax is equal to a cos theta. This a is multiplied here. Similarly, if we make ay subject in this equation, here this ay is the y component of vector A, so we will get ay is equal to a sin theta. Also, with respect to this angle theta, this is opposite side and this is adjacent. So opposite upon adjacent is the thing, but it is tan theta. And so tan theta is equal to opposite upon adjacent, that is, this is the opposite and this is adjacent. And so writing theta, we get theta is equal to tan inverse of ay upon ax. This is equation number 1, which shows the direction, or we can say that from this we can obtain the direction of the given vector. Now if we use the Pythagoras theorem to this figure, then this is the hypotenuse and these are the two adjacent sides. So according to Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square is equal to sum of the squares of the remaining two sides, and taking square root on both the side, we will get a is equal to root of ax square plus ay square. So from this equation number 2, we can get the magnitude of this given vector. So it is clear that from this equation number 1 and equation number 2, we get the direction and the magnitude of given vector A. Similarly, we can obtain vector A in three-dimensional coordinate system. In three-dimensional coordinate system, vector A can be represented in terms of its components as axi cap plus ayj cap plus azk cap. In two dimension we have written only these two components x and y only, but in three dimension we have to include the z component also, and here this k cap is the unit vector along the z axis. This can also be written as like this, in bracket ax comma ay comma az. Now magnitude of this vector A can be represented as this, that is square root of ax square plus ay square plus az square. In two dimension we have only written this much, but in three dimension we have to include this z component also. Similarly, if we have to represent any position vector, then position vector r in three dimension can be written as xi cap plus yj cap plus z k cap. In two dimension only this much can be written. This can also be written as simply like this, that is r is equal to, in terms of coordinates, x comma y comma z, and its magnitude can be written as r is equal to square root of x square plus y square plus z square. Students, I hope you understood this. Go through the textbook also, read each and every line so that you can understand it properly.